going to go ahead and record, and we will get started. So this is Boomerang Calendar. Short, because it doesn't take a long time to show this. I need to just share my screen. There we go. And hopefully you guys can see my screen. Can you guys see the screen, the Boomerang Calendar? Hopefully you guys can see that. It's kind of not letting me. It's not wanting to. Can you guys see it? Okay. So let me stop my screen share and we'll start over again with the screen share. You know, always some technical issues. So let me share screen. There we go. And hopefully now you guys can see the screen share. So let me know if you guys can see it now. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. So Boomerang Calendar. Some of you may have seen the free webinar I did a while back about Boomerang for Gmail, which is amazing. We actually had them on, one of the marketing people from Baden, which is the name of the company that does it, on the QBO show. And I absolutely freaking love these apps. And they're really not apps, they're just Chrome extensions. So if you, and this only works if you're using Gmail or you're using Google Apps for work. So if you're using something else, Boomerang Calendar, you have to be using Google Calendar for it to really work. If you're an Outlook calendar person, it's not going to work for you. So just keep that in mind. I'm a big Google person. I use Google Apps for work. So I'm not sure where you click to see the screen. You should be able just to see it, so I'm not sure. It looks like everybody else can see it. Maybe somebody else on the other end can help Dominique in the chat and let her know where to click to see the screen. But anyway, Google Calendar works with Boomerang for Calendar. So really the whole point of this is this kind of back and forth. Like, so does this sound familiar? Your client's like, hey, let's have a meeting. And so then you send an email and you say, hey, I have this day, this day, this day, and they come back and say, nope, not going to work. So there's that whole ping pong basically that you have to play. And you have to do this, no, what about this, what about this, what about this? And so you list back and forth in emails or text messages or however you're doing it to try and get a day and a time that works for you and your client or whomever you happen to be meeting with. I don't have patience for that. I have very little patience. It's what I tell my husband all the time. He's a much better parent than I am because he has a lot more patience. And so I think that life is way too short to work with that kind of useless back and forth. And so what are the options that we have for that? So there's a couple ways that we can fix it. And one of those is an online scheduling app. I used one for years. The one that I used was Full Slate, and I used that before Intuit purchased it. A couple years ago, Intuit purchased Full Slate. Really great program. You know, we had a little link on our website that said schedule us, and you could set it up so that nobody could schedule anything unless you had a password. And so there are some pros to having this as an option. One, obviously it's online. You just send the link to your online scheduler, so whomever you're talking to can schedule something, and it should sync with your calendar so it shows anything that you have open. And ideally, what's really cool is the one that I use is you can also tie it possibly to a payment system as well. So with Full Slate, I tied it to PayPal, so I could say, hey, you need to pay and require a payment before somebody made an appointment. So the problem with this is that even though it was synced to my Google Calendar, I may not have something going on. I may not have something blocked out on my calendar. So like today, for instance, this is really the only thing at a call at 10 o'clock with a client. Those are the only things I had actually on my calendar. But the rest of the day, I don't want to schedule any appointments because I had other things that I needed to do. I had some engagement letters for a quick review to get out. I had another engagement letter for a QBO setup to get out. I have some blog articles to write. I had to pay all of my personal bills this morning because I forgot to do it by the 1st, and it's now, the 8th. Hello. I need a bookkeeper, right? And so I had things to do, but I didn't block that time out on my calendar. And so unless you remember to block out every single thing, like I don't want to schedule any appointments, a lot of times the online calendar really wasn't working. And it got to the point where when somebody was using our online system, I couldn't just let it get approved right away. I would get the notification that somebody was trying to schedule an appointment with me, and then I would have to check my calendar or check my partner Shannon's calendar to see if that time would work. So at the end of the day, it wasn't really working as effectively as I wanted it to. And, that was our problem. But some other problems with having an online scheduling system is the client may schedule a 2-hour block when really they need 30 minutes. Or they would schedule 30 minutes when really they needed 2 hours. Also, the app may have rigid scheduling rules. So the way that Full Slate worked, and I really liked it, was I could have it set like a buffer. So, give me 15 minutes between each appointment time. So if I had something scheduled between 12 and 1, the next available time would be 1:15. Well, that also didn't always work because there are times where I plan on doing something and plan on being back. If I have to go out to a client or I have to leave my office, which this is my basement, I have to leave and go somewhere and I hit traffic or something else happens, I may not get back in time. So it's just the scheduling rules could be a little bit rigid, and also you have to pay money for it. I was paying, I think, $50 a month for Full Slate. So after using Boomerang from Gmail, we don't use a CRM. So I really recommend you guys go check out the Boomerang for Gmail on the StacyK Academy YouTube page as well. But after using Boomerang for Gmail, we found the calendar, Boomerang for Google Calendar. And what's really awesome, and I'm going to show all this to you guys in just a couple minutes, what's really great is you can schedule meetings and you can give a bunch of meeting times in one email, and I'll show you what that looks like. You can show the days and times that you have busy. You can show the client that you have some availability outside of the days and times that you're suggesting for them. Or if you want, you can share your availability just for this week, and I'll show you this. It's really, really neat. And you can schedule group meetings as well, which is really important because it's really tough when you have 3 or 4 people that you're trying to get scheduled. We do a lot of conference calls, Shannon and myself, with clients, and so it's really hard to say, okay, this works for Shannon, this works for, our client Adam, and that's kind of tough. But so you can schedule these group meetings, which is really kind of awesome, and you can do it all right within your Gmail, and that's what's really amazing to me. So between Boomerang for Calendar, Boomerang Calendar, and Boomerang for Gmail, I don't have to pay for a CRM because if I need something to do follow-up, I can have Boomerang in my Gmail bring it back to me, and then we just keep a spreadsheet, a Google Sheet, to keep track of the status of any of our prospects. So we don't use a CRM. Our CRM is a spreadsheet and Boomerang for Gmail. And now with this, it makes things a lot easier. Just a couple screenshots when you first set it up. It's going to pick which calendars that you want to sync Boomerang Calendar with. And so for me, I want it to look at my Gmail or my Google, apps for work. And then also holidays, because I want it to show up with the holidays. One of the things I love about Gmail is you can add all these other public calendars that'll show tax due dates, holidays in the US. I just did a project for Intuit's Trainer Writer Network. Allison Ball runs that, and she put a call out, can somebody schedule everything? It has to not have anything to do with the US tax season. We have to avoid that. We have to avoid the Australian tax season. We have to avoid the UK tax season, but we also have to respect all of those different holidays, national holidays, as well as religious holidays. And so it was really easy to go in and just add all those calendars in Gmail. And so I could see when those were all blocked out. And then I also had to manually go in and enter a couple of events. So that's another thing why I really like Google Calendar is you can add public calendars very, very, very easily. And so there's 3 ways that you can use Boomerang Calendar. There's one of my cats back there. You can detect meeting times inside your email. So I'm going to show you an email that I sent to myself this morning so I can show you guys during the webinar. And you can hover over it and it'll say, hey, do you want to see your schedule? Or you can click to see the event in a calendar and add it to your calendar. You can propose new events as well. So you can say, I want to suggest a time to meet. And then you can also plan those group meetings. And I'll show all of you guys this, all this to you in just a minute. These are just some screenshots. If you go to Google and you go to the Google Web Store and just search for Boomerang Calendar, these are just screenshots that I snagged directly from that their listing in the Google App Store. So really, really easy to do. And if you guys want, I'll just dig right into it. So first, I'm going to pull up my Google Calendar here. So here's my Google Calendar, and I don't need birthdays. And so this is what I'm talking about, adding other calendars. So here's holidays in the US. I can have this shown or not shown. So I do want this shown. And you can go in, and I like to change these to make them gray so that they're grayed out and I know that I'm not going to schedule anything. So here's today. I don't have anything going on. So I'm going to go ahead over here and I'm going to look at some of my emails. So I got this email and this person is saying, hey, I want to meet with you. Let's chat Thursday. So I can hover, as I'm hovering over this, it's showing me, hey, this is the schedule. You know, you don't have anything. Yep, we can go ahead and I can add this event just as I hover over it. Or I can click on it and it will open up directly in, and I can add it and I can make any changes that I need to. So I could say, hey, this is, you know, this is a phone call, so it's not anywhere. So I could say, hey, phone call. And I can say, this is just a quick call. And I can add the note and edit the notes right here. I don't even have to actually open up my calendar to go do that. So then what I can do is I can say, hey, bring this back to me. And I can say the morning of the event, the day before, or a couple hours. So I want to say, bring it back to me the morning of the event. And then I want to remind any of the attendees the day before. And then I can also go ahead and send some Google Calendar invites, and I can even add more. So there's a Google Calendar invite, the person that sent it to me. And I can also say, hey, you know what, I want to send it to, you know, Laura, my friend Laura. And I can go in and I can add that event. So now if I look at my calendar over here and I look on the 14th, there it is. It's right there in my calendar. All the notes, this is just a quick call. It's a phone call. Here are the 2 people that, that were invited to it. Kind of neat, really cool. So that's one way that you can use Boomerang Calendar. And I'm going to delete this so that it doesn't actually show up on Laura's or my calendar. So I'm going to delete that and update guests. So that's one way that we can schedule and use these. And then if I were to suggest a meeting, so let's say I'm gonna send an email and I'm gonna do this to Laura. I'm gonna say, hey Laura, possible meeting times, right? So I'm gonna say possible meeting times, and right down here I have a little button that says suggest meeting. I could share with her the next few days that I have available and let her pick a time, or I can share out next week's availability as well. So I want to suggest a time. So I'm going to click on this. It's going to bring this up. I can say this is Laura and Stacy meeting. And I can choose how long, or I can do custom time. So if I do custom time, I can just drag and drop and say, this is an all-day meeting, right? This is all day. I can say we can do it Tuesday, well, actually, I want to remove that because that's the past. I can't schedule an appointment in the past. So I'm going to take a look at next week. I'm going to say, you know what, Laura, let's meet all day, which Laura's never going to want to meet with me all day. I'm just going to say, I have Monday or I have Thursday open. And then I can say, I have the option to let the person that I'm sending this to confirm that with one click. And I don't want to show her my availability. I don't want her to know what other times I have available, so I'm going to uncheck include my availability. Now, here's the thing that I love about Google Boomerang for Calendar, is that I can reserve these time slots so that I don't accidentally book them with something else. So this is really important because I will forget, because I have no short-term memory. I'm going to forget that I suggested this time to Laura, and then I'll probably go ahead and book it because it's not blocked out on my calendar. So if I reserve these time slots in my calendar, and then I say insert into email, and so we're going to choose our date format. So we've got that. We want to include our time zone, and I'm going to continue. So now this email, this is what Laura's going to get. And so she'll be able to click in one email. And if for some reason she can't see that, the times are also listed in text. So I'm going to send this to Laura. And if I go back to my calendar, it has the little question mark because these are tentative times. So it's blocked this out on my calendar so I don't schedule this. So then Laura will get this email and she'll say, why, yes, Stacy, even though I don't want to do an all-day meeting with you, I'm going to go ahead and pick whatever date it is. So how does this look when she gets it? So this is an example of what it would look like. So I sent this to myself so I could show you what the recipient would look like. And so saying, hey, here you go, please click a time that works for you. And so all I have to do is click that, and it's going to add it to my calendar as well. So I'm going to say, hey, here we go. And this is going to be phone. And there we go. And my email is Stacy. There we go. My email is StacyK at gmail.com. This is a test meeting, and then I'm going to confirm. Right, so there it is. It's been confirmed. I look at my inbox, and here's what's really cool is that I can see it, and what happens is on my own email, and I'm gonna share. I'm gonna show you this. Hold on. I'm gonna do incognito. So hang on a second there. It'll show up on the person that sent it, and it'll automatically get added to my calendar, which is really amazing. So, you know what? I don't know if the recipient needs Gmail and a Google Calendar as well. I'm assuming that they do because it's Boomerang for Calendar is working, but that person will get an invite. So you should get a meeting invite as well. So the person that has sent it, like Laura, you know, she uses Google Gmail, but you can just pick it. And then what I usually do is I will add it to my calendar. So over here, we're saying this is our suggested time. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to go to more details, and I'm just going to automatically, just to make sure that that person has it on their calendar, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send them an invite. So that's just a best practice. That way I can make sure that they actually have that invite. So when you do get a notification, and so I'll forward this, hold on one second. I will forward it, Marcia, to show you how it looks. Like that one that I just accepted, those times that I just accepted, I'll show you what it looks like on the recipient's end when they accept something. So if I go over here, it's going to take a couple minutes for this email to show up. So there's that invite, right? So I invited, but there's also, if we go to all mail, I should have another one. I just forwarded it. It takes a minute to get there. Dominic's saying, for Google Drive to work with Google Docs, both need Gmail. What do you need? So I'm not sure I understand the question, because you're talking about Google Drive and Google Docs, and this doesn't have anything to do with either one of those. So I'm not sure about that question. So when I confirmed that email just now, I clicked that little green thing and I confirmed this invite right here. This is what it looks like, right? So Stacy's responded to your meeting proposal and agreed to meet. And I can go in and look at that on, so if I'm the sender and somebody agrees and says, hey, you'll get a notification saying they have responded and we added this to your calendar. And so it'll show up there. You don't necessarily need Gmail to accept it, but if they're not using a Google Calendar, you can send it to any email. It just won't automatically get added to their calendar if they're not a Gmail, like a Google Calendar user. So that's why, just in case, if I send Laura or somebody sends me this meeting request and they pick the meeting, I would go view it in my calendar and make sure that I send them an email, like an invite. So if they confirm the time, BoomerangCalendar is going to add it to my calendar, and then I'm going to go to that event and then I'm going to invite them just to make sure they have it, because I can't guarantee that they have a Google Calendar. Okay. And that's kind of it. I mean, like I said, this is a really short webinar. How you get it, I should probably show you how you get it, but if you go just to Google, and you can go to Google Apps, or you can just, the easiest way to do it is just go to, I usually just go to the Google Web Store, right? Just Google that. And when you go into the Chrome Web Store, you're just going to search for Boomerang Calendar, and there it is right there. You're going to just click on it, and then I've already added it to Chrome, but if it wasn't, I would just choose Add to Chrome, and then it really is very simple, and it walks you through that setup. So if you guys are interested, we talk about a lot of different apps in StacyK Academy. We start next Thursday. We don't just talk about apps. I'm not teaching you QuickBooks Online. I'm not teaching you, they're not deep dives into apps. We talk a lot about apps, and we really talk about practice management. We talk about onboarding. We talk about how to manage new clients, really how to figure out what your jam, what your niche is going to be, help you get started on that. So if anybody has any questions about BoomerangCalendar, or if you want a little bit more information about StacyK Academy, I would love to hear from you. Like I said, we start next Thursday, and we're almost full. So we usually keep the classes to 20 people so that it's very interactive and very collaborative. So we keep it so that everybody can talk and have conversations during the webinars, and so it's not like this where I'm just talking. Like I said, we keep it to 20, so it can be very interactive, and it's closing up fast. We're getting close to that 20. I think we have 14 right now, so we only have 6 more seats. Is there a way to schedule it as a Zoom meeting without going through Zoom to schedule it? Yeah, so for that, if I wanted this to be a Zoom meeting and I do more details, because I have Zoom, the add-in, I can set that up, and I got to log in, so hold on one second. I don't know if I have it set up with this one. I should be able to, I might have to restart it, but I should be able to create an event, and I can make it a Zoom meeting. So once you have that Chrome extension, Steve, if you want, I will send you a link. If you to register, you can go to right directly to StacyKacademy.com, and you can sign up directly online. That's the best way to do it. So you can make any meeting a Zoom meeting, but you just need to have the Chrome extension installed there. So if we look at this, I should be able to make it a Zoom meeting. So even though I've already scheduled, I can say, hey, this is going to be a Zoom meeting. And so now it'll be a Zoom meeting. Any other questions about this? I love BoomerangCalendar. I just used it to schedule some conference calls this week with clients between me and Shannon. Oh, the other thing I want to mention too is if I'm opening an email, I can show my availability for the next few days. That's one thing that I can do. Or I can say, hey, let's show next week's availability as well. So it's pretty cool. And then the other thing I want to point out is if I click on here, I can say plan group event, and I can choose what we're going to do. So I can enter all of the email addresses for all of the people that I need to plan for this, and I can say, hey, how about we could do 9 o'clock here, we could do 9 o'clock here, we could do 9 o'clock here, and I can say this is a group meeting, and I can say I want to invite Stacy, and I want to invite Laura, and maybe I want to invite Richard. And so then I can preview this, and it will show, and so everybody can check what that looks like. So let's see if I can email this. So it's kind of neat. I love the group meetings as well. So there's a lot of different things that we can use for that. And we can just create an event, we can suggest the meeting, and you can do it right from here in your inbox, or you can do a few things directly from the email. All right. So, hey, thanks, you guys. I really appreciate it. Like I said, this was short and sweet, but I think kind of interesting. And Steve, I will email you the link if you want to register. And if you guys don't have if you have any other questions, you guys know how to find me online. Just email me. All right. You guys have a great afternoon. Thanks.